Here's Bobby Rahal. He screams down that main stretch, almost 220 miles an hour. Now Mears down into the first turn. It's back. Pocono developing for second place as Tom comes alongside Mario Andretti, but Andretti shuts him off. Mears still leads. And already a key name, Gordon Johncock, in the pits. Let's go down and get the report from Georgia.
Gordon Johncock into the pits now, and they have shut the engine down. They believe it may be an ignition problem. George Huning, the crew chief, now scrambling immediately toward the left side pod. They have another spark box out there, another ignition system, which they'll quickly try to replace.
Meantime, back on the track, second place, Mario Andretti. But closing up and just behind is Tom Sneva. The Texaco star battle as they come onto the main stretch. And Sneva tries him on the inside, picking up off of his wrap. Sneva pushes past Andretti, now Sneva in second.
Well, he's really on the move. I'm thinking he's going to be moving up on Rick pretty quick, Paul. He's really cutting some fast laps right now.
Let's go back to Gordy's pit and Gary Gerald.
Well, Paul, apparently the change in the spark box didn't do any good. The crew's now on the right side pod. Gordy sits there in frustration, helpless. It may be a fuel pump problem.
Here's Tom Sneva as now in second place. He chases down the leader, Rick Mears. Mears in that yellow number 6, and Sneva comes to the inside. Across the start-finish line, Sneva leads it. Rick Mears drops back to second place. Will he hold it on into the first turn? That's lap traffic that they're moving in, and Tom Sneva maintains first.
He really caught that Rick Mears by surprise. Did a heck of a slingshot off that number 3 turn here at Pocono, Paul.
So Tom Sneva leads. In third place now, but slowing just a bit, is Mario Andretti. Second is Rick Mears. Andretti pulls up on Gary Bettenhausen to lap him. Right behind Roberto Guerrero and Bobby Rahal on the charge. Rahal's view as both Guerrero and Rahal come past Andretti. Now Bettenhausen comes in between them. Guerrero begins to pull away a bit. Rahal sitting back in fourth place now. There's the leader, Tom Sneva. He is being chased by Rick Mears in second place.
It would appear that Tom Sneva's turned up his boost a little bit, but we must remember fuel is going to play a very important part of this race.
So as Tom Sneva leads, in second place is Rick Mears, and Guerrero and Rahal have threaded their way up through past Andretti and now lie third and fourth. Once again, on Bobby Rahal's car is that magnificent part cam, a little pound-and-a-half camera. There's the view over his shoulder. That is Guerrero ahead, and Guerrero loses control. Coming off of the first turn, Guerrero up-tags the wall. Rahal comes low, gets past him. Guerrero smacks the wall, a good one.
And that's exactly what it looks like from a driver's viewpoint. And Rahal is so lucky that Guerrero didn't advance in front of him. And there is Guerrero on a replay. Looks like he got in a little bit high, pinched the car. He lost the rear end, hit the wall, head on practically.
Well, the yellow flag is out for the first time at Pocono. Roberto Guerrero now climbs out of his car. The car front end damaged, but apparently Guerrero is all right. The field slows. There's his wife, Katie Guerrero, concerned about her husband, but he is okay. We'll be back with more for the Pocono 500. We're back at the Pocono 500, still under yellow, and Mario Andretti has been having his problems. The cowling off of the back of the car now as they have been trying to make some changes in the engine compartment. Let's go down to Gary.
Well, Paul, it's almost deja vu. We saw a similar situation in Michigan. Andretti had a spark plug wire came off. They made a change in one plug, but it was just the wire that was off that was the problem. He lost a lap, later made it up, and of course went on to win the race. Now this time they're in there once again making changes back in the ignition area. It appears that they are making a change on one of the plugs. The major difference this time at Pocono, however, is that they had to take the whole back cowling off the race car. That's going to take a little bit more time to button it down once they're assured that the car's ready to go racing. So the question now becomes, can Andretti come back and do what he did at Michigan just a couple of weeks ago, this time in Pennsylvania?
Mario Andretti, more problems with the wiring on his machine. The crew still working on that car, but the field under yellow. Roberto Guerrero's car being brought in. Right now, he's with Bruce Jenner.
Is that the first time you've hit the wall on one of these big ones? Yeah, and I hope it'll be the last one. I didn't like that. You know, I'm very disappointed. The car was going well. I was running third, strong, and you know, all the team have worked so hard. It's obviously disappointing, but I guess it's fine.
Well, you're all right?
Yes, I'm okay. I guess that's important too.
Ready to fight again another day.
Yep, thank you.
All right.
You bet it's important. Guerrero okay. The Bud crew pushes the car back to action.
Paul, they've just sent Mario Andretti back on the course. They've made a variety of changes, and now they have to wait for the green flag to see whether or not it'll pay off and whether he can get back up to competitive speed.
On the green flag upcoming, we're ready to go back to racing at the Pocono 500. Rick Mears, as a result of a good stop by the Penske crew, is back at the head of the field. So Mears leading the race. The green flag waves, and we're back racing. Second place is Tom Sneva. Gordon Johncock, the number 20 car, is in the fight there at the head. Whatever his problem was in the early going, they have repaired it, but he is several laps down.
Well, he's several laps down because of that repair job they did on his fuel system, whatever is wrong, Paul, and he's really not going to be a factor right now.
Rick Mears leads. Tom Sneva is in second place. Johncock is just in front of Sneva as they head for the second turn. A key turn in this race, a very narrow groove at that point on the course. Here's the view from Bobby Rahal's car as they head down the Long Pond straight. Now, the second turn is upcoming. That's Danny Sullivan, comes by on the inside and gets past Rahal. You can see a very narrow turn there.
Well, that was a good pass by Danny Sullivan because that's a very narrow place, and you go through there wide open for the fast car. It's a very hard place to make a pass.
So Danny Sullivan around Bobby Rahal for third. Here is the fight at the front of the field. Car number 4, Tom Sneva, challenging Rick Mears for the lead in the first turn. Sneva down on the inside, takes over first place. Mears back to second. Sullivan is third. Rahal is fourth. Action at the front of the field in the Pocono 500. We'll be back right after this. Gary Gerald and Bruce Jenner at the Pocono 500. Tom Sneva, car number 4, is the leader. We have had a tremendous fight up at the front of the field. Here comes Danny Sullivan in third place. He literally drives right past the second place car of Rick Mears. Easily cruises past it.
Boy, there's a lot of passing going on that turn, too, and that Danny Sullivan is really showing some speed right now.
Car number 3, Mario Andretti. He has had his problems. He is 4 laps off of the leader's pace. Here's the view from 4th position. Bobby Rahal's car. You can see the lens has now been badly spattered with oil. Show how close the fighting's been.
That's oil from other cars, Paul.
That comes from sticking your nose right up in their exhaust pipe. As we look at the leader once again, Tom Sneva. A tremendous performance by Sneva. He is one of the drivers in the fight for the Triple Crown of auto racing, hoping to pick up an extra $10,000 by scoring the most points in the 3-500. First, second, third. Sneva, Sullivan, Rick Mears all running together as they come past the slower machine, the Primus of John Paul Jr.
Boy, the way they're racing for the front, you'd think this was the last lap of the race, Paul.
Another challenge for the lead. Here comes Sullivan, pulls inside. Tom Sneva, can he hold it? Remember, Sullivan, a rookie, and this is the Pocono 500. Really a road racer, but some say that this oval, a tri-oval, is closer to being a road circuit. And Sullivan just blows Tom Sneva away. The Lola working magnificently as it comes around Sneva's march. Another march, the 4th place car. Bobby Rahal makes a stop under the green, right back out and into the action. But he will drop off the leader serial. There's first, second, and third again. It's Sullivan, Sneva, and Rick Mears.
You know, Paul, originally, the Lola was rumored to be nothing but a road race or a short track car. And ironically, it won the last 500-mile race at Michigan. And look at it go today.
It's a march on the charge, though, as Sullivan bobbles just a bit, almost loses it, as Tom Sneva closes up in second place. Rick Mears is in that fight as well. So a blanket over first, second, and third. This over 3,000-foot long pond straight. Here comes Sneva on the charge. They're closing very quickly on that very tight second turn over the tunnel, and Sneva picks up the lead. Sullivan drops back into second. Let's go down to Sneva's pit. Here's Gary Gerald.
Well, Paul, of course, the significant thing right now for Tom Sneva is that national championship point chase, because with Mario Andretti now running a couple of laps off the pace with that continuing motor problem, Sneva up here battling and now holding the lead. He's the one that could really take the quantum jump. He has led the national championship point standings, of course, all season long until coming into this race at Pocono when he went one off the pace. Now it appears he's in a position to move back in front.
So once Tom Sneva in the march gets around Danny Sullivan, he's able to pull away. Now Mears closes up and begins a fight with Sullivan for second place. Mears tries Sullivan on the inside. Here's the fight for second again, approaching that second turn. A very tight corner, and Rick Mears moves past Sullivan, picks up second. Sullivan from the lead to second, now back to third.
Well, it would appear to me that Danny Sullivan has turned back his boost and probably trying to save a little bit of fuel. Remember, Paul, it's a 500-mile race and fuel is very important.
So the battle has seesawed back and forth. Rick Mears, Tom Sneva, Danny Sullivan, all occupying the lead at one time or another. Now, let's go back for more 4 laps off the pace. His son, Michael Andretti, climbing out of his machine, but the crew appears ready to do more work on it. Also out of the race, A.J. Foyt. Here is Gary Gerald.
Well, we're here with A.J. Foyt. 4 times you've been a winner at this racetrack. Today, you're still smiling, A.J., but back here in the garage isn't going to get it, is it?
Well, we had trouble all week. You know, we were really running through the corners fast day. The car just wasn't performing down the straightaway, and we lost ignition, I guess. And then I had an argument, you know, with the tire people because I said it's wore out. Now I come in last time, it was wore out on the right front. So
I understand you also
had a talk with them in a minute.
You also had a problem with the right front wing. They were doing some taping up
Well,
there.
what happened, somebody's debris, rub block, come off their car and went through it like a bullet, you know, ripped the wing clean in two.
Here is Tom Sneva leading the race, but there's the second place machine. Rick Mears, he is in pursuit.
Sneva's looking very strong despite...
Oh, spin coming off a 1. Dennis Firestone loses it, gets it right back under control. Rick Mears right behind that, almost got involved. Here comes Rick by on the inside. Yellow flag is out.
Boy, that Rick had to have a very anxious moment right then. I'll bet that really got him excited.
Anxious moment, too, for Dennis Firestone. Here is Tom Sneva. He takes advantage of the yellow into the pits for what should be a routine stop. Not so routine, though. Just down the pits, Michael Andretti is back in the car, but they're working on the right rear hub carrier.
A lot of the March cars have been having bearing problems in the rear uprights, and they're changing the entire right corner of Michael Andretti's car.
Tom Sneva back into the action. Remember, though, the yellow is still out. The second place car, Rick Mears, makes his stop as well. It is routine as well, as the leaders making their stops under the yellow. Bobby Rahal also in and makes a stop.
Now, it's time to go back in time and see what makes this day a special one.
Ready to come back to green. Rick Mears leads, Bobby Rahal second, Sullivan is third, Sneva fourth, Scotty Brayton is fifth as the green flag comes out. And Tom Sneva makes his charge on Danny Sullivan. This is a battle for third place as Rick Mears leads the field off into the first turn.
Boy, that was a close backup. That Sneva really works good at traffic.
Tom Sneva now line in third place as he moves around Danny Sullivan. First place is still Rick Mears. Bobby Rahal, the number 5 car, currently running in second place.
Rahal has really been looking good through the middle part of the race, Paul. His car seems to be handling better than most of the other cars, and he looks like he could be a very strong contender at the last.
Rick Mears, the 1977 winner, being chased by Bobby Rahal. Rick Mears, the pole sitter, picked up a point in his ongoing battle in the PPG point standing. Now is out in front here in the Pocono 500. Here's a magnificent battle for 5th place now, developing between Scotty Brayton in number 37 and Al Unser Sr. in car number 1. As Big Al comes alongside Scotty, simply blows him away and picks up 5th.
You know, they've been battling like this from the very start. Scotty Brayton and Al Unser Sr. have both been just battling like they were leading the race. They can't seem to be getting separated from each other.
It's a wonderful day for Scotty Brayton, though. He has tried for so long to prove that he's ready to run at the front. And here he is running with the defending national champion. That's Gordon Johncock lying just behind. But remember, Johncock is well off the pace due to early stops. Here's the leader once again. Bobby Rahal is still in pursuit, but Rahal seems content to let Rick lead for the time being.
Well, Rahal's moving up on Rick, and I think that you're going to see Rahal. There he comes right now making a swing on him. Rahal is actually, like I said, a very good handling car at this point in the race.
Slower traffic just in front of them as Rahal comes past Rick Mears, uses the slower traffic to his advantage, and now it's Rahal in the lead.
Well, he's still handling good, and he's going to be hitting out. It seems to be that whoever turns their boost up at the right time is the guy that's looking good. And at least at this time of the race.
Rahal comes past the Graco Wolf Systems machine of Jeff Brabham and sails off into the first turn and on to the lead. So Bobby Rahal now out in front. In second place is Rick Mears.
I guess what is going to happen is Bobby just going to turn back his boost a little bit and let Rick see if he can come back by him, or maybe even Danny Sullivan.
Here's the battle for third place. That is Tom Sneva in the white car. Danny Sullivan, car number 30, tries Sneva, but Sneva pulls it down low, shuts the door.
That's a good race. Remember, Danny and Tom have been going tooth and toenail for a long time. I think it's going to see a good race between the two of them. There's Danny taking another swing at it.
Danny Sullivan tries it again inside Tom Sneva. Sneva, an expert on the ovals. Danny yet to prove himself. He is a rookie here, but he does it there as he gets past Tom Sneva. He's in third place.
You know, normally speaking, Tom is a little bit better in traffic than Danny is because of the experience that he's had on the oval track.
Now here's Scotty Brayton, that continuing battle for fifth place on the inside of Big Al. Scotty dives into the turn, holds Big Al off. Scotty has fifth place. He's had a magnificent day. Let's amplify that and go to Gary.
Well, certainly one of the encouraging young performers in this competition at Pocono today is the young man in car 37, Scott Brayton. He qualified fifth fast, his best ever qualifying effort, and he's been battling for fifth place at this late stage in the race with Al Unser Sr. His best ever career finish was seventh. He certainly looks like he's got a great opportunity to improve upon that this afternoon.
Scotty Brayton, there he is. The machine is Cosworth powered. He has been testing the Buick and expects to have that back in action soon. Here's the leader, the 7-11 March, Bobby Rahal, out in front at the Pocono 500. There's a problem, though. There's Michael Andretti. The engine just let go. He's pulled it to the side of the course, but the yellow flag is out. They'll have to tow that machine in. So with the yellow out, let's go to Arlington Park. 5 miles to go now. Bobby Rahal leads in second place behind Bobby Rahal. Here you can see the interval distance is the second place machine of Rick Mears. In third is Tom Sneva. Danny Sullivan is in fourth, and Al Unser Sr. is currently in fifth, but he continues his battle with Scotty Brayton. There's Danny Sullivan as he is chasing down Tom Sneva. Closes in on Sneva and begins the fight with him.
Well, I think we're into one of the biggest fuel battles that we're going to see in a long time. There goes Danny by Tom Sneva, but you must remember, they pitted at a very peculiar time. And I don't know if they're going to be able to go all the way on the amount of fuel they have left. So that's really going to mean an indecisive finish, at least this early.
Scotty Brayton, currently in sixth place, continues his pursuit of Big Al on the main stretch. Car smoking down in the first turn, appears to be trailing oil as Scotty Brayton's still in. We've got a problem. A car sliding, a car up against the wall. Coming off of the first turn, Al Unser Jr. against the wall. The car rolls to a stop. Damage to the right side.
I'm sure he's spun the oil, Paul, and he's got both ends of the car bent up. I think that's all for the Coors Special today. I'm sad for little Al.
So that brings an ideal opportunity for the pit stop. Let's go to Bruce.
And Bobby Rahal smokes the tires as he comes into the pit as the Jim Truman 711 team work over the car, handling obviously very well because they're not even putting any tires on it. They're just cleaning off his goggles, filling it up with fuel, and they're waiting for the top of the fuel off. There it is. It's topped off. Rahal gets it back in, lights the tire. Bobby Rahal stays in the lead.
And in the Danny Sullivan pit, it looks like routine service here as well. They're topping off with fuel.
Rick Mears makes a stop. Fuel only here for this stop for Rick Mears as we set up a real battle running to the finish. Gary.
And it was fuel only for Sullivan. They were happy with the 4 tires on the car. He's away.
So the stops are made as they clean up from Al Unser Jr.'s accident. They should not need to stop again going to the finish. That'll make it a sprint to the end of the 500 miles. The report from kart safety, Al Unser Jr. is all right after this accident. Here's the man he was involved in the accident with at the Michigan 500, Chip Ganassi. He's an observer here today, but he is fine and ready to race as soon as the car is available. We have a long cleanup to go for the Pocono 500. Now, Gary Gerald and Bruce Jenner. Bobby Rahal will lead the field down to the line. Rick Mears in second, Danny Sullivan third, Tom Sneva is fourth. Currently, Scott Brayton is fifth. As we started to go green, then a yellow comes out. A car lost the wheel. There he is. Pete Halsmer lost the right rear over in turn 2. The tire rolls past. Frank Garciero bringing his team back into kart racing, but a problem for Peter Halsmer, so we are yellow. Green for a very short time, just the wink of an eye. Mario Andretti has his problems. Here's Gary.
We saw a trail of oil leading right into the garage here. Was there a definite moment when you knew that it was just all over for this afternoon?
Well, yes, just a few moments ago, it seemed like it started smoking, but I'm not sure how related that is. I think we may have a hole through the oil radiator, so I don't know.
6 races to go yet in this national championship chase. Not over yet, is it, Mario?
Oh, no, it's not over yet.
Thank you.
Thanks. Peter Halsmer finally gets that car back in. Another upright problem.
Yes, that's definitely another upright. The bearings went out. He lost the whole stub axle, everything off the right rear, Paul.
Ready to go green again as Tom Sneva hits a little jump on the green, sails past Danny Sullivan. Green flag ready to be displayed. There it is. We're green and racing once again as Bobby Rahal is out in front. Rick Mears is right behind him. Jeff Brabham darted to the inside. He was in front of the serial, and there comes Tom Sneva down the line.
It appears that Tom really preempted that start. That may be a little problem with the officials on that one, Paul.
And we're back racing once again. We can go to the finish. The teams say that their fuel is just okay. Everyone hoping that they can run to the finish now of the Pocono 500.
They're saying that, Paul, but I promise you, the leaders right now are really jockeying for that fuel deal. They're not going to turn the boost up till the very, very last second.
Here's the battle at the front. Rick Mears is chasing Bobby Rahal down. Both of those teams wondering about the fuel. Fuel always a consideration running to the finish of a distance of 500 miles. Now Rick Mears drops in Bobby Rahal's draft. Rahal looks over, checks to see where Rick is. Rick is on the inside, and Rick sails into the lead.
That was a good pass. That was a really daring pass by Rick, and he's obviously turned his boost up. He's ready to go to the end now. At least it would appear that way.
The front 3 cars in this race are marches. Rick Mears leads. Rahal is second. Tom Sneva is third. The 4th place car is a Lola. Danny Sullivan. All are powered by Cosworth engines. The Cosworth first won here in Al Unser Sr.'s hands in '76. Should it win today, it will be the 103rd Cosworth victory.
You know, Paul, ironically, I've got to tell you, the rumor mill has it very strong that Roger Penske is building his own engine over in England. If that's so, you could be seeing the end of Cosworth domination in Indianapolis cars.
The crowd cheers for Tom Sneva as he pulls up to do battle with Scotty Brayton. Scotty is 1 lap off the pace. Tom Sneva is currently running in 3rd. Here's Danny Ungaias in car number 25, fighting with Al Unser Sr. It is a fight for 6th place. Ungaias has never finished the Pocono 500. His best finish has been 12th place. He's doing much better than that here today. Big Al drops back in position. There is Ungaias as he accelerates and heads through turn number 2. The closing stages of the Pocono 500. Rick Mears is the leader, but the question is, do they have enough fuel? Let's check in with Gary Gerald.
Bob, from what we've been able to learn at this point, there seems to be some concern in the Rahal pit. Also, some concern in the Penske pit. They think they have enough fuel to go the distance, but they're afraid they're going to have to dial the boost down to conserve the fuel to get to the checkered flag.
Well, Gary, if they do that, that will help this battle. The 3rd place car of Sneva, the 4th place car of Sullivan, because they're running full open. In fact, look at Danny Sullivan as he just simply cruises past Tom Sneva and picks up 3rd.
Ironically, Paul, Danny Sullivan just turned a lap at 197 miles an hour, 2 miles an hour faster than he qualified.
So Danny Sullivan, he is on the charge. The man out in front, the man in charge of the race is Rick Mears. There's 2nd place, Bobby Rahal. Danny Sullivan, the man to watch at the moment. And the straightaway speeds here at better than 220 miles an hour. That's a 13-mile-an-hour increase since just last year, Bobby.
That's all aerodynamics, not really anything in the engine. It merely means that they get the downforce in the tunnels and take the rear wing almost off, just moments.
Tom Sneva, as he does battle with Scotty Brayton, but Scotty Brayton is 1 lap off the pace. Here is Tom Sneva, the 4th place car, back to the leader. It is Rick Mears. Bobby Rahal closes up. Rahal in close pursuit now. Danny Sullivan sits just behind Rahal. The battle for the front 3 positions in these, the final stages at Pocono.
It's starting to become evident that Rick Mears is dialing his boost back, Paul. He's obviously a little bit short on fuel.
Bobby Rahal makes his try now. Comes along Rick Mears. Rahal screams off into the first turn, and Rahal is the leader. Mears back to second. Danny Sullivan is third, but Sullivan tries for second. He's alongside Mears. Sullivan now in 2nd place. We're on the Long Pond straight now. Turn 2 is ahead. It's been a good position for Sullivan as he tries Rahal, and Danny Sullivan passed in turn 2. Sullivan leads.
Another one of his famous turn 2 passes. That guy is amazing. He is absolutely flying.
Remember, this is the first time that Danny Sullivan has raced here at Pocono. Some say it's a tri-oval. Others say that it's really a road course. Whatever it is, it's working for Sullivan.
Look at him pull away, Paul. I guarantee you this boy's not short of fuel, not the way he's acting.
Christine Horn, the wife of the team manager. There is Steve Horn, the team manager, and Jim Truman. They can't believe it. They had the race under control, and Danny Sullivan just simply drove past. Roger Penske, he's on the phone with Rick Mears, trying to get Rick back into the lead. We have less than 2 laps to go in the Pocono 500, and this man is the leader. Danny Sullivan, the car is a Lola. It is sponsored by Domino's Pizza, the same people that sponsor this race. As Danny Sullivan comes onto the main stretch, a crowd in front of him. The white flag, Nick Finoro gives it to Danny Sullivan. There is 1 lap to go as Sullivan tries to find racing room between Gordon Johncock and Howdy Holmes. Tony Bettenhausen is in there. John Paul Jr. Sullivan has to spread his way through all of these cars. 1 lap to go for Sullivan. Can he hold on?
Boy, it looks like he can hold on, Paul, but I'm going to tell you something. That was really touchy. He didn't like it going the first turn.
So Danny Sullivan leads. There's the 3rd place car, Bobby Rahal. Rick Mears is now trying to close up on Sullivan. They're going to race right to the finish. Mears behind Sullivan. They head for the 3rd turn. Rick Mears sets him up. Mears comes lower. Sullivan being pushed to a higher line. Now Mears starts to charge. Slower traffic. Chet Phillips just in front of him. Mears gets bottled up behind Phillips, and Danny Sullivan wins the Pocono 500, his 2nd kart victory of his career, and he wins the Pocono 500 as a rookie.
It looks like Bobby Rahal blew his engine right at the checkered flag. At least that's certainly what it appears like.
Well, Bobby Rahal comes across in 3rd. There's the 4th place car of Tom Sneva. And look at this. Doug Shearson, Dennis Swan, and the team, they've done it. They won the Pocono 500. A wonderful victory for the man from Louisville, Kentucky, Danny Sullivan. We'll be back to talk to him right after this. Has won the Domino's Pizza 500 at Pocono as he pulls into victory circle. A wonderful battle with this man, the 3rd place finisher, Bobby Rahal, and the 2nd place finisher, Rick Mears. But the day, it's Danny Sullivan's. Here's Gary.
Well, here it is. Doug Shearson, a happy car owner. The jubilant Danny Sullivan. The congratulatory kiss here at Victory Circle is Bedlam at Pocono. They say, Danny, that the first victory, of course, on a road course at Cleveland always is special. But when you've never driven an oval such as this one and you come in and win, this has got to be one fantastic feeling.
Well, I feel great, especially because there was a lot of people that thought I couldn't run very good on an oval after Michigan and Indy, so we just wanted to prove them wrong. But it was such a great race. I mean, Bobby and Tom Sneva and Rick Mears, and the whole way, it was just a great race. You know?
That's 2 500-milers in a row now where it has come right down to the last turn. Your thoughts over those last 10 laps, because you were as far back as 4th, then it was 3rd, then 2nd, then the lead.
Well, to be honest with you, I thought I had 2 laps yet to go. I misread the board, and I was just trying to pick my way through the crowd, and I didn't realize Rick was that close, you know, and it was just, oh, I think it's great. I think it shows how good kart racing is, how competitive it is. Look at all those cars that finished out there. I just think it was a great show for everybody.
There's the official results. Danny Sullivan wins $75,500. Al Unser Sr. becomes the 6th man in history to win $4 million in racing. 2nd place is with Bruce Jenner.
All right, Rick, with about 10 laps to go, you went by the whole field. I thought you were going to just run away with it, and then all of a sudden, what happened?
Well, my fuel light started coming on. I thought I was going to run out of fuel, so I had to turn the boost off to make sure we got to the finish for the points. And then that just killed me. That let both of them get by me, and I just kept, I knew I wasn't going to make it from the light. And so I kept the boost down until I got within the last couple laps, and I thought, well, heck with it. If it's going to go this far, it'll go to the end. So I turned it back up, got Rahal back, and cut.
Did you think you could get him in the last turn?
Well, if we'd had one more shot. No, he was running good. He did a hell of a job. But you know, I just blew it by turning the boost down because I was afraid we were going to run out of fuel, and I wanted to make sure we got to the end for the points.
Well, you're in there for the points, that's for sure.
Well, we hung in there and finished.
Certainly doesn't hurt.
No, it didn't.
Well, Rick Mears picks up enough points in the Triple Crown to take home the extra $10,000. In the race itself, this was the key moment.
It was, and Danny is certainly the star of the day. The guy, supposedly, that can't run circle tracks was absolutely marvelous. Another typical good kart IndyCar race. We had Michigan, and now we had Pocono today. Beautiful.
It was a marvelous 500. Here's the current standings in the PPG IndyCar World Series. Still a three-way battle for first place. You'll see it all wrap up on NBC when we bring you the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Doug Shearson and his champion begin to celebrate now. It's champagne and pizza tonight. This is Paul Page for Bobby Unser, Gary Gerald, and Bruce Jenner. So long from Pocono.